You ever notice how people start treating you differently the moment you stop caring? You pull back and suddenly they start chasing. You stop reaching out, and now they're the ones blowing up your phone. It's almost like they only realize your worth once you've decided you don't need them. Strange, isn't it? But here's the truth, this isn't an accident. It's human nature. And more importantly, it's the power of detachment at work. Stoicism teaches us that attachment is the root of suffering. The tighter you hold on to something, whether it's a person, an outcome, or an expectation, the more power it has over you. You cling, you worry, you overanalyze, and in the process, you lose yourself. And ironically, the more desperate you are to keep something, the more likely it is to slip right through your fingers. But when you let go, when you release the need for validation, control, or approval, that's when everything shifts. That's when people wake up, because detachment isn't about being cold or indifferent. It's about having the strength to walk away when something no longer serves you. It's about knowing your worth so deeply that you no longer beg for what should be freely given. And that's what we're diving into today. How the power of detachment can change your relationships, your mindset, and ultimately your life. So, if you've ever felt like you were the only one putting in the effort, if you've ever wondered why people don't appreciate you until you're gone, stick with me. You're about to understand why, and more importantly, how to turn the tables for good. The moment you stop seeking, the balance of power shifts. You're no longer at the mercy of someone else's attention, approval, or affection. And that's when they start to notice. People can sense when you need them. They can feel when you're overly invested, waiting for a response, hoping for validation. And whether they realize it or not, they take you for granted. Not because they're bad people, but because comfort breeds complacency. When they know you'll always be there, always reaching out, always understanding, they have no reason to change. But the second you let go, the game changes. You stop chasing, and suddenly they feel your absence. They wonder why you're not reacting the way you used to. They start questioning their own behavior, and sometimes for the first time, they see you clearly. This is why detachment is so powerful. Not because it manipulates others, but because it forces you to reclaim your own energy. Instead of pouring it into someone who isn't reciprocating, you redirect it back to yourself. You stop looking for fulfillment in someone else and start finding it within. And ironically, that's when people become drawn to you. Because confidence, self-respect, and emotional independence are magnetic. But here's the key: detachment isn't about pretending not to care. It's not about playing games or acting indifferent. It's about genuinely reaching a place where you're at peace, whether someone stays in your life or not. It's about knowing that your happiness isn't dependent on their presence. And once you get to that place, everything changes. You stop fearing loss. You stop tolerating one-sided relationships, and the people who truly value you, they step up. The rest, they fade away exactly as they should. Let's be real. Letting go isn't easy. The mind clings to what's familiar even when it hurts. You tell yourself, maybe if I try harder, they'll change. Maybe if I just give it more time, they'll appreciate me. But deep down, you know the truth. If they truly valued you, you wouldn't have to beg for it. This is where Stoicism gives us clarity. The Stoics believed in focusing only on what we can control: our thoughts, our actions, our mindset. Everything else? Out of our hands. You can't control whether someone cares. You can't force someone to see your worth. But you can control how you respond to their indifference. You can decide to stop overextending yourself for people who don't meet you halfway. And the beauty of detachment? It's not about losing anything, it's about gaining yourself back. That energy you were wasting on people who never matched your effort. Now, you get to reinvest it in yourself, your goals, your peace, your self-respect. And when you do that, something incredible happens. You stop being an option and start being a priority, not just to others, but to yourself. You stop needing closure, explanations, or apologies. You no longer sit around wondering if they'll come back, because it doesn't matter anymore. You're too busy building a life that you love. And if they do wake up and realize what they lost, good. But by then, you won't need them, because you'll have found something better, your own unshakable sense of worth. When you master detachment, you become unstoppable, not because you don't care, but because you refuse to cling to what isn't meant for you. You no longer chase people. You no longer waste energy on one-sided relationships. And that kind of freedom, it changes everything. You start to see how much of your past stress came from attachment, holding on to people who didn't hold on to you, expecting situations to unfold in a way you couldn't control. But now you've shifted. You understand that real power comes from surrender, from knowing that what's meant for you will stay, and what isn't will leave. And both are a gift. The irony is, the moment you reach this place, people notice. They sense your shift. The same ones who overlooked you, who took you for granted, who didn't value your presence. Now they feel your absence. They wonder why you're no longer waiting, why you've stopped trying. And suddenly they wake up. They reach out. They say the things you once wished they would say. But here's the truth. You don't need them anymore. You're not bitter. You're not resentful. You just see things clearly now. You've reclaimed your energy, your peace, your self-worth. And that's a place no one can pull you from. So, if you're holding on to someone who keeps you waiting, if you're stuck in a cycle of proving your worth, let go. Not to make them miss you, not to get a reaction, but because you finally understand that your value isn't up for debate. And once you detach, you'll realize something powerful. The right people never needed to be chased in the first place. And that's when you win. Detachment isn't about playing hard to get. It's not about manipulation or making people miss you. It's about freeing yourself from the exhausting cycle of proving your worth to those who should have seen it all along. It's about choosing peace over anxiety, self-respect over desperation, and reality over illusions. When you let go, you send a powerful message, not just to others, but to yourself. You are whole. You are enough. You do not need to beg for love, attention, or validation. And the moment you embrace that truth, you become untouchable. So stop waiting. Stop chasing. Stop hoping for someone to realize what they had while you were bending over backward to prove it. Let go. Walk away with your head held high, because the ones who truly see your worth, they won't need your absence to recognize it. They'll value you while you're still there. And the ones who don't, well, they were never yours to begin with. Live with strength. Move with purpose. and never again settle for less than what you deserve.